All right, I've been asked by a few people what are my current thoughts on training with belts, wrist wraps, things like that, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. So this is a topic that I've had a few different positions over the years. I've definitely had phases in years where I promoted them more, and years where I didn't, and even like right now, I'm training completely raw, no supportive equipment. I rarely even wear shoes anymore. I just train in a pair of shorts. So I guess what we have to look at from these is what are we specifically trying to achieve? Because if you look at the deadlifts there, right, I'm just doing deadlifts, no belt, right, just getting in and pulling. Same thing on the benching here. Really wide grip, flat back benching, no arch, right, no arch, flat heel, no wrist wraps, no belt. And the thing is, yes, we're obviously going to be lifting less weight. I don't want to say the word weaker, but we're going to lift less weight raw, right? We have less supportive equipment. And yes, they do matter. You can probably bench press more with wrist wraps, probably overhead press more with wrist wraps. Squatting and deadlifting, absolutely more with a belt, right? Significantly more. However, you guys have also seen me do, I think I've done up to 485 beltless, 486 or so beltless on camera. In fact, at one of the meets I did a 220 kilo squat without a belt, just straight up high bar. No belt, no wrist wraps, no sleeves. Even my last state record, I wore a belt, but no sleeves. So 496 for that Masters 2 Texas record. So I guess what we're really looking at, though, is what are our goals? Are you pursuing a strength sport? Are you pursuing general fitness, bodybuilding, muscle, all of that? So I think the way to look at it, in my position right now, I am not training for powerlifting at the moment. It is not my goal to get on a platform right now again. Will I probably do it again in the future? Yes, absolutely. I will eventually probably do another meet or 2 or 5 down the road when I'm ready to do so. But right now, for just my own personal benefit, for the growth of my business, all of these things, because quite frankly, in my case, I find physique coaching to be more lucrative than strength coaching, like for strength sports. It just simply is. I'm not saying I don't have clients who compete in strength sports, powerlifting. I don't have any strongmen or Olympic lifters at the moment. So all my competitors are power lifters, and then of course I have fighters. But honestly, even for me as a coach, physique transformations, general fitness, particularly for my over 35 guys, my dad bod stuff has been more lucrative. So I am training in such a way because it's good for my business and I need a better physique. It's better for marketing purposes. Plus the other thing is I'm not moving as heavy of a weight. I don't necessarily get quite as beat up. I mean, we're still lifting heavy. You guys saw me doing reps with 315 on the bench, 47 years old, doing reps with 515 on the deadlift, right, without a belt. But by comparison, I think the most you've seen me pull is 635 with a belt and then 605 without a belt, for a 1 rep max on camera. So let's step back and look at what it is we are trying to achieve. If we are trying to gain muscle, I don't know that we need to be using supportive equipment, okay? Do a lot of bodybuilders and other people choose to do that? I see bodybuilders wearing knee wraps on not just squats, but leg presses. But from a muscle growth perspective, it is not doing anything of benefit. Why? Well, in that case, you are literally unloading tension at the point of greatest mechanical tension on your quads. Now, if you're trying to get bigger legs, that is not useful in any way at all. All it is going to do is let you move more weight at the lockout. And it's going to reduce the tension on the quads at the bottom there. That's why you can move more weight. It's making it easier in the hardest part. And the end result, you're probably getting about the same stimulus, but you're having to load more weight. All right, that's not a benefit. When it comes to things like the wrist wraps and stuff for benching, you can bench more. I can bench more with wrist wraps. Most of us can. We can all press more with wrist wraps, but it's because it's locking you into position. But I would make the argument: are we really using the muscles more to do that, or is it just because it's locking us in tighter? You could be squeezing hard, you could be getting some extra forearm gains out of it. Okay? It could force you to focus more on your overall form. You have to focus more on your form when you don't have artificial aids helping you stay tight. So if we're trying to really build muscle, like, so let's say we're benching, like you see me benching there, it's benching, even though that was a heavy set. I do some 10 and 12 rep sets and stuff too. That is very much bodybuilder type benching. It's flat back, no arch happening, heels flat, no real leg drive, coming down, touching the chest, using a really wide grip. That is building a lot of pec. But also because I'm not getting any extra aids, I'm a little bit looser there, and I'm having to just focus on the form. I'm having to focus on really squeezing that bar. Okay, that's a benefit. Squatting and deadlifting, I'm having to brace my core, but by that same token, I can't move as much weight. Therefore, I can probably get pretty similar muscle stimulus with less overall fatigue on my body. So if we're trying to really maximize stimulus fatigue while still doing these big movements, I think we can make the case for just pulling it off. Plus, you don't have to put it all on. It cuts time down. Taking belts and wrist straps on and off takes time, takes energy, takes focus. Then you got to buy them. So just for getting muscle, I don't think that there's a benefit. That's just my opinion. Now, if we're going to do strength sports, train like you compete. Okay, if we can lift more with a belt, if we can lift more with wrist straps, and you're going to go compete, you do need to do quite a bit of training with them. I've always, of course, done phases of beltless, and a lot of really strong lifters have, but a lot of you really super strong world record holding lifters train with their equipment year round. Whatever they're going to wear on the platform, that's what they do even their rep work it with. If they're allowed to wear knee sleeves they're going to compete with, they put the knee sleeves on. The only exception I would say is wraps, because wraps can damage your knees over time. So in that case, I would say practice wearing wraps the final month or two before you do your meets. Your knees will last a lot longer, so less likely to tear adductors, less likely to tear hamstrings. But as far as the other stuff goes, yeah, I mean, if you're going to bench in competition with a belt and wrist straps, particularly the wrist straps, you should probably train in them. You're going to squat and deadlift with a belt, you need to probably use the belt you're going to use on the platform. Just keep in mind, you are going to lift more weight. There is going to be more wear and tear for the same amount of stimulus, but you're also then getting used to handling those bigger weights and staying locked into those positions that the belt and the other equipment puts you in. Keep in mind, your bar paths will be different with that equipment. It will change things. So if you're going to compete in a strength sport and wear supportive equipment, yes, you absolutely need to be training in it a pretty good chunk of the year, if not all the year, unless it is detrimental in terms of injury like a knee wrap. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.